Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. So, I'm very proud to say that last Sunday, our alliance, led by Dragon 2K of Pleasure Architects, actually managed to achieve a Blessed Rain, and this was the first Blessed Rain on our server cluster. So, I just want to give my congratulations and say very well done, guys. Everybody pulled their weight and everybody did their part to make sure we get this huge achievement, and I just want to jump straight into the action and show the challenge of the Immortal fight. One thing you'll notice right at the beginning, which I wanted to show, is that you can see that a bubble procced around Dragon 2K. So he was using the Dusk Prowler pet as the companion pet for this fight, and I believe that this is the most popular pet right now to use in PvP for most players, and for a good reason. I mean, the active skill of this pet is the Spirit Shroud, which basically absorbs damage for a brief time when it procs, and it also inflicts a bit of damage when the shield expires to all nearby enemies. So this obviously gave him a bit of help during the fight, and every time it procced, it would decrease the damage done. And we'll actually go through his spec at the end of the fight. I'll just show everything that he used and just talk about some other tips for this fight. So while we're on the topic of pets, I also wanted to talk about the passive skills of the pet, and I'm not sure how impactful they are in this fight, but I know that one of the most popular passive skills to use would be the Savior passive skill, and this gives a one-time cheat death and also 3-second damage immunity. So if you have an Immortal who's used this, please let me know if it has proc in this fight. It's pretty hard for me to test that myself. As far as I know, Dragon didn't have a pet with this passive ability, and he also didn't. Well, spoilers, I guess, but he also didn't come close to dying. So even if he had it, it wouldn't have procced. So as you can see now, his HP's just dropped below the 80% threshold, and this threshold is actually pretty important in this fight. And the reason being is that after you dip below 78%, you get 2 extra abilities unlocked, which is the Whirlwind AoE, the Blade Storm skill, and also the Howl of Terror, which is the AoE fear that the Immortal can do. So right now you can see that he's slowly kind of transitioning from a more passive playstyle, where he was running away at the start and just leaping away, into a more aggressive one. So you're actually going to see that he's racking up kills really quickly. So now he's at 12 kills, and we can just keep an eye on his kill counter during the fight, and you'll see how quickly he's just going to start racking up kills now with the Blade Storm ability, which is extremely powerful. So, one thing I wanted to say is that the first kind of 2 minutes of the fight, you'll notice that the Immortal's not getting many kills, and your HP is going down pretty quickly as the shadows attack you, but don't be discouraged, because most of the skills start racking up and you'll start snowballing and getting a lot more damage as you kill the shadows and start picking up the globes that they drop. So that's another thing I wanted to talk about, which is another mechanic in this fight, which is called the Ever Burning Essence. So every time you kill a shadow, it drops a globe which kind of looks like the quickening globe that drops from killing demons. And there's a bar that you have to fill on the left, which you won't be able to see while in spectate mode, but it looks something like this. So every time you collect these globes, it fills this bar, and when it's filled completely, you actually gain a level towards your advancement. And what advancements do is that they increase the damage of all your skills. So your skills start at level 1, all of your skills start at level 1 as the Immortal at the start of the fight, and as you level up and fill up this bar, they'll go to level 2 and level 3, and you'll basically get more damage, and you also get a slight buff, I think, to your movement. But yeah, you'll start seeing that he's just racking up kills so quick towards the second half of this fight, because he's just overpowering them now and doing a lot more damage. So you can see now he's got 30 kills, and in less than 2 minutes, he'll actually be able to kill off most of these shadows here. So what you'll see now is that there's going to be a banner that says skill cooldowns reset, and what this means is that Dragon picked up a burning essence from one of the killed shadows, and this actually filled out his bar towards the advancement. And what this does is that it will give you the extra damage, but it also resets the cooldown of your skills, all of them except the Whirlwind, which is a channeling skill. So he'll be able to spam his skills more frequently as well. And you can see that a lot of these shadows have the gladiator tree active, so you actually have to kill them twice, but he's still managing to do that, which is pretty impressive. You can see now again he got his skill cooldowns reset. and he's just spamming away and trying to kill as many as he can. So this is kind of a huge contrast to how he was playing at the start of the fight, and you can see that he's doing a lot more damage now, and just killing off with one whirlwind. He just went through, killed like 3 of them there, and he's just going to finish them all off here. So what he did there is that he activated the Guardians, and you kind of want to do this every time it's off cooldown, because while you activate them and you're standing still, you're actually not taking any damage, and the shadows have to kill these Guardians, otherwise you also not take any damage. So you can see he's just activating that every time, just to annoy them. So at this point the fight's going to end because Dragon reached 60 kills, and he actually did it in 5 minutes. So the fight lasts for 6 minutes, but he had almost a full minute left towards the end of the fight. And this is actually my favorite part of the fight, where you get to see the bug with the null U000, and you've got Keon giving him the crown to have an eternal reign, and then Akeba from the shadows coming in and just roundhouse kicking him in the face. So yeah, it's pretty hilarious. So now Akeba's going to give a chance to the Shadow Clans to fight for the new Immortal reign. I really wish they'd fix the names here, but anyway, this is I'm just going to skip forward. This is the next part after the Shadow fight concluded. So it says Blessed Reign achieved. Dragon 2K has achieved Blessed Reign, ending the current reign is Immortal. And you've got Sunshine Sonko, leader of the Dark Clan Ancient Lodge, will become the next Immortal. So congratulations to them. And you've got this cutscene here. The Immortals have achieved a Blessed Reign, and the following clan, Dark Clan, has taken the crown, Ancient Lodge. Cool. Congratulations once again. You can see from this screen that it shows I've reigned for a total of 12 weeks and had 1 Blessed Reign. So this is because it's added my last Immortal reign, which was a 5-week reign, on top of this 7-week reign. And you can see that it also shows the rewards I got following this reign. So at this point, I'm going to quickly go through all of the rewards that I got, and also show some of the other rewards that I've yet to achieve. So the first thing I noticed in my mail was that I got a Blessed Rain chest. A few months ago, I kind of made a video memeing about this chest and saying I hope that it isn't just blues, but if you get a Blessed Rain, you'll be able to get this chest. And once you open it, which I just did here, you'll be able to see I got 2 set items, 3 legendary items, and also 3 legendary crests. So it is quite a nice little chest that you get if you do manage to get a Blessed Rain. And I'm going to ID these items just to see if they're like guaranteed triples like the ones you get from the Gauntlet. But as you'll be able to see, none of them were exceptional, so unfortunately they're all going to get salvaged. But it's nice to have the 3 legendary crests at least. So now I'll move on just to show the Immortals menu, and you can see that week 7 it says we got the Blessed Rain, and we actually only won 6 out of the 10 fights for the Rite of Exile 8v8, which is less than what we had last week, but from what I understand, the result of the fight doesn't matter. It's just the challenge of the Immortal that matters for this week. And if Dragon defended as he did, then we would have got the Blessed Reign. If he didn't, then the reign would have just ended anyway at 7 weeks, and we wouldn't have got any Blessed Reign. So here you can see that I've achieved the first cape and the second cape. And to achieve the last cape, it's 6 Blessed Reigns in total. So I need another 5 Blessed Reigns to get that last cape that I'm sure many people would want to get. But you can see that it's added at the bottom. You can see it's added my total reigns, and it shows me that I've got 1 Blessed Reign achieved. So I'm going to be honest, I'm not the biggest cosmetic person in the world, but I mean, I'd much rather have these cosmetics, which take time to achieve and are free, rather than having more paid cosmetics like the Phantom Market, where you pay like an insane amount of money just for a single cosmetic. It's kind of insane to me. Anyway, I'm going to quickly move on, just so this video doesn't turn into a rant. I'm going to show what Dragon has. So as you can see, he's using the Warden Paragon tree, which gives quite a substantial amount of damage reduction. And this is kind of a theme you'll see across the gear that he's using. So he's actually not using any of the set bonuses, and he's just prioritizing damage reduction from players, damage done to players, things like that on all of his gear. I also didn't show it in this clip, but he only has around 3k resonance, which makes it all the more impressive that he was able to end the fight with kills rather than just letting it time out. I have no doubt that all the damage reduction that he stacked helped him win the fight, but the kills and knowing when to switch over to being more offensive definitely helped him in that, and he's a very skilled player, so kudos to Dragon2k, and thanks for everyone who played their part in this reign. I'm very proud to have been part of this alliance, and hopefully we can continue the streak and get more blessed reigns in the future. In the last part of the video, I want to go over the Immortal skills and more in depth into the Immortal strategy. So if you talk to the historical archivist in Westmarch and you click on Keon's memory, you'll actually be able to join into a practice mode for playing the Immortal. So once you skip through all the cutscenes, you'll be able to see that I've assumed the role of the Immortal here. And one thing which I want to show, just like in Dragon2k's fight, I'm actually going to proc my Dust Prowler ability as soon as I go in. So you can see I've got NPC shadows around me, and I've procced my Dust Prowler ability. And this will refresh during the fight, but you can see that they just die straight away off my passive gem effects here. But that's fine. I'm just going to show the skills and how they work. So let's go over them one by one. So the first skill is called Eternal Fire, and this has a 9-second cooldown, and this unleashes 3 waves that move forward, and they'll slow enemies. The next skill is the Immortal Leap, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to jump away, damaging enemies, and you're going to knock them away from you, and this has a 16 seconds cooldown. The third skill is called Kaion's Edge, and this summons a falling sword that falls down on enemies and stuns them for 3 seconds. This actually does quite a huge bit of damage, especially after you rank it up, and it has 20-second cooldown, and you can have up to 3 charges of it. The downside is the area of effect is pretty small, so you kind of have to be a bit precise with it. The next skill is the basic primary attack, which is the Immortal Slash, which doesn't do that much damage, but you could certainly use it just to finish off shadows who are on low health. And lastly, you've got Blade Storm, which is the Whirlwind ability, which most people know about, and this effect does a huge damage, so it's probably the most important ability to take note of, and it's a channeling skill, and it will do huge AoE damage to the shadows. One thing to notice is that it won't unlock until you've reached the first advancement, and this advancement unlocks automatically once you reach 78% health breakpoint. So in this practice mode, the Blade Storm ability is unlocked by default, but if you were to play the challenge of the Immortal, you'd notice that both the Blade Storm and the Howl ability on Q are both locked at the start of the fight. Once you reach the first advancement, which like I said is based off the health breakpoint, you'll be able to unlock both of these abilities and use them as normal. So I'll quickly talk about the 2 skills which you'll have in the fight which aren't available in this mode to show. The first one is Howl of Terror, which unlocks with the Blade Storm, like I said, and this is an AoE fear, and it has a pretty long cooldown, but the cast time is very low, so you kind of want to be spamming this skill every time you have it off cooldown, and it's especially useful with the next skill I'm going to talk about, which is the Animate Guardian skill. So this skill summons Guardians to your aid, and while you cast the skill, it does have quite a long cast time, but while you're casting it, you're going to be invulnerable, so the shadows won't be able to damage you, and they'll have to kill the guardians around you before continuing to damage you. So it's quite a useful ability to use along with the Howl at the same time to kind of stall time and also distract the shadows from damaging you. One thing to notice is that all of these skills start at rank 1, and as you pick up the Burning Essence from the killed shadows, you're going to fill up the advancement bar, which will actually increase the rank of these skills and also increase the damage. So let's quickly talk about what I think is the best strategy for this fight. So obviously there's 2 win conditions. One is winning by time and one is winning by having defeated 60 shadows. So at the start of the fight, you're pretty weak and you don't have your advancements and you won't have the Blade Storm skill. So until you reach the 78% breakpoint, you kind of want to be running around the walls. And the reason for that is if you run in the middle too much, you're going to be opening yourself to be attacked from all angles by all of the shadows. So you kind of want to just stay around the edge and definitely use your leap ability off cooldown and just use it at max range to get away from the shadows as much as possible. So if you can see what I'm doing now, I'm just staying around the edge and just leaping at max distance, and I'm not really looking to be using much of the other skills. The reason for that is they have quite a long cast time and they're not going to be doing much damage at this stage. So if you cast them, you're obviously going to be getting attacked while you're casting them and you won't be doing too much to kill the shadows. So it's not really worth it. Like the first minute of the fight, you just want to be running around like this. So if you were to start being aggressive and killing off the shadows straight from the start, you're going to be kind of throwing away one of your win conditions, which is winning by time, and you're going to be putting needless pressure onto yourself because you're only going to have one condition, which is winning by killing off 60 shadows, which might not be achievable depending on how strong they are. So once you've taken about 22% damage, you kind of want to shift to being a bit more aggressive and start using more abilities to kill off your shadows. So definitely use your ultimate ability, the Animate Guardian, straight away, and use also the Howl of Terror, and start using the Bladestorm ability once you're in a good position to AoE and kill off a few shadows at once. And you also want to be scouting for shadows that are weak or almost dying, and kind of use your primary attack or use the Keon sword just to stun them and finish them off. Like I mentioned in Dragon's Fight, you also want to keep an eye on your Burning Essence bar. So every time you fill up the bar, your cooldowns are going to be reset. So you definitely want to use up your skills before you collect the last orb, before this bar resets all of your cooldowns. So just keep an eye on that as well. And that's kind of the strategy you want to be following all the way to the end of the fight. So you kind of can be a bit more aggressive once you have all of your skills powered up. And that's pretty much all I have to say with regards to the challenge of the Immortal fight. I hope this video has been useful for you guys. If it has, then please do leave a like and subscribe. It does help the channel out a lot. Also, if any of you have actually played as the Immortal and have some extra tips to share, then please do leave them in the comments below. I haven't actually played as the Immortal myself, so I'm just basing all of these tips based off the fights I've seen on my server, as well as the fights I've seen on YouTube from other servers. And with that, I'll be ending the video there. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.